So before we get going any further with the meeting, we're going to swear in our new council members, so if you guys come around here to the middle. Karen, JC, and Mark. And our law director will swear you in.
Raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio.
I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the State of Ohio.
That I will uphold the Charter and all the laws of the City of St. Clairsville, Ohio.
That I will uphold the Charter and all the laws
of the City of St. Clairsville, Ohio. And that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties
I will faithfully, honestly,
impartially
and impartially discharge the duties
of the office of councilperson for the City of St. Clairsville, Ohio,
in the City of St. Clairsville, Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
in my continuous in
Congratulations.
All right, now it's a little more difficult than we thought. So now let's do a roll call. I'll ask Jacob to take the roll call.
Butler.
Here.
Jordan.
Here.
Oakridge.
Here.
Brash. Here. Thomas.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Vincenzo.
Here.
All members are present.
Okay, thank you, Jacob. So the first thing we have to do, our president of council couldn't be with us tonight, due to personal matters. So there's a reorganization in January of every year of the council to decide, one of the things is to decide who the president pro temp is. So before we proceed with the meeting, I was nominated and asked to do it for 2021, so we need a nomination for 2022. Mr. Smith?
I'd recommend Councilman Oprich for President Pro Tem.
So we have a motion, we need a motion.
We
We have a motion on the floor, we need a second.
I'll second it.
Ms. Butler, second it. Take a vote.
Butler.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Oakridge.
I abstain.
Brash.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Vincenzo.
Yes.
All members are in favor.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. I'll do the best that I can. Appreciate that. We can now officially have a meeting. So, yes, sir.
I think we have to make a nomination for council clerk as well.
I'll defer to the law director for that.
Typically, the council clerk serves at the behest of council, so unless he resigns or you choose to redo it, if it's not necessary.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
Okay, it's not what we've done in the past, but I was going to recommend him anyway.
Still good?
But yeah, that's
You can
fine.
go ahead, it's not gonna hurt anything to double do it.
That's
so.
fine.
The charter actually says that we shall do it, so.
Then let's just do it. It's not gonna
Yeah,
hurt
let's just
anything.
do it.
Mr. Smith, do I hear a motion then?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we recommend Jacob DeBertram as council clerk.
Second.
Jordan, second it. Take a vote, please.
Butler.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Oakridge.
Yes.
Brash.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Vincenzo.
Yes.
Motion
That's
carried.
paid.
Welcome. Okay. All right, let's do the minutes from the December 20th, 2021 regular meeting. Everybody get a copy of the minutes? Any questions? Okay, we have a motion to pass those minutes.
Make
Okay, Ms. Butler made a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
The vote?
Butler.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Oakbridge,
Yes.
Thrash,
Abstain.
Thomas,
Abstain.
Smith,
Yes.
Vincenzo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Great, thank you. Okay, minutes are passed from the last meeting. Moving on, I don't see any citizens hearing, but I do welcome the citizens that are with us tonight. I should have said that earlier when there were a lot of citizens, but welcome to you guys also. Thanks for coming. Appreciate your interest. I don't see any correspondence on the agenda, and so we'll move into reports now. Mayor, do you have a report for us?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Beth. It's a short report. First of all, again, welcome to family and friends who are here to see the new council people sworn in. You should be very proud. As we welcome in the new year, I hope that everyone did have a safe, happy holiday season as we get back to work in St. Clairsville. And it's my pleasure to welcome our new council people, J.C. Thrash and Mark Thomas, and I guess Tara too. I didn't realize we'd be swearing you back in. We look forward to working with you. We met with engineers who will be working on the Route 40 railroad tunnel project at the bike trail. They will be starting the design work in the spring, and the project will come to fruition in 2024. Met today with Congressman Bill Johnson and his team to discuss future funds that might be coming available from the federal government for city projects. He directed us to several persons and websites to watch to apply for funding. Met with Jeremy and Finance Director regarding ordering additional COVID tests. Unfortunately, COVID has reared its ugly head again in our city. I was out on quarantine all last week, and now we have several employees out with active COVID. I've obtained a very small supply of the rapid tests for city employees from the health department, but I'm going to ask you to please continue to use common sense, follow CDC guidelines, and vaccinations are still available at Sam's, Walmart, CVS, and Kroger. Please get the vaccine. This current variant, the Omicron, is very contagious, and the person I was exposed to is pretty sick despite having 2 vaccines and a booster. So I know we're all sick of living under these restrictions, but we've got to do what we've got to do to stay healthy, and I hope next year at this time we are looking in the rearview mirror at COVID. That's about it. Beth, thank you.
Questions for the mayor, Mr. Thomas? Any questions?
None, no, thank you.
Mr.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thrash?
Sure.
Mr. Butler?
No,
Ms.
thanks,
Butler?
Catherine.
Sorry, Mr. Vincenzo?
No.
Mr. Smith?
No questions.
Ms. Jordan? Service Director is unable to be with us tonight, so we won't have a report there. Chief Arbets, please, Chief, a report?
Good evening, Council, and Happy New Year to everybody. For the month of December, the police department had 375 calls for service. We had 21 crashes, 21 arrests, 1 warrant served, 4 domestics, and 116 traffic stops. That's it. Pretty short report.
Thanks, Chief. Questions for the Chief?
No.
Okay, all good? Thanks again. Finance Director, Annette?
Good evening, everyone. I don't have a lot to report. It's been really busy getting the new year up and working on a tedious payroll. It's the first payroll of the month, and my assistant Dana is back in for some hours a week, so we're doing well. We're just really busy.
Questions for the Finance Director? Linda?
Is Melanie coming in?
She's worked one day.
Will she be back?
I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. It just depends on. Dana's, like I said, get back some, but not full time, so I might have her another day or 2.
One day this year, so today's the third.
She's only worked one day, so.
But like, I'm just trying to clarify.
No, I might have her back a day or 2,
Right, but one day since,
since we talked about it last
Okay.
time. Yeah,
okay, in the last couple of weeks.
yes.
Linda, more questions?
No.
Okay. Anyone else?
No.
Okay, thanks, Annette.
You're welcome.
Mr. Murphy, Planning and Zoning.
Just a few items. Council, before you tonight is ordinance 2020-138 for final reading. That's the ordinance outlining the amendments to the zoning map and text. It's been a project that was delayed by the pandemic, so it's good to see that finally coming to fruition. we were able to rectify some address changes within the city that have been kind of a hindrance in years past. They were not in sequential order. So one of the homes recently sold, and we were able to correct that, and the other one was just getting the county the information that was needed. So our the different city and county departments to get those rectified, so good news there. I did take part in a Bellamar meeting last week. Bellamar is the area's regional planning organization that handles transportation projects. As Mayor kind of mentioned, our trail and tunnel project was reviewed. They were making amendments to their transportation improvement program, which includes our project. So I wanted to make sure that that didn't get forgotten, and it was amended and approved with our project in it. And as the mayor mentioned, that should be initiated in 2024. That's it.
Questions for Mr. Murphy? Understand the Bell store is up and running, and car wash should be open in a couple weeks?
Car wash, when I talked to JP, he thought maybe it would be more February. But the way, as quick as they move with everything, I would be surprised if it's earlier than that.
Okay.
So yeah, everything's doing great. I've stopped in there a few times. It's amazing how much extra room there is.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a timeline, Tom, on the business going into the Old Convenient?
They actually are already under lease. My understanding, and the utility office, you might know, is it February or March they plan to open at that location?
Right.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else from Mr. Murphy? Okay.
Excuse me, Beth.
Yes.
I had one more thing to add to my report.
Yes.
At the last finance meeting, there was some question about the 2020 audit and a major deficiency within the audit. So I just want to clarify that 2020 was a perfect audit, and the deficiency was from 2019, not 2020.
Okay. Any questions on that? I appreciate that clarification in the record then. Okay, so council committee.
Before we move to council committees, I wanted a statement for Elizabeth.
What's that?
First, I want to make it clear, this statement is not intended to seem accusatory, cause strife, or anything of the sort. I'm simply asking questions, seeking answers. And Elizabeth, at this point, you're well aware that in early 2020, as an elected official, I requested files that would help me make an informed, competent decision regarding a vote. I actually requested the files more than once. Finally, on December 22nd, 2021, I received them, thanks to the prompt response of one of the city's department supervisors. Had I received these files in a timely manner, I would not have had to do a public records request. Last week, I received an invoice for those files. My question is this how it's done for all council members, or am I being singled out in an attempt to silence me?
I have no idea where the invoice came from, and I forwarded your request to the chief because they dealt with police matters. And I do not, those are records held with him.
I did receive an invoice.
We do have, our public records policy is that you can charge for copies.
And had I received them in a timely manner, I would not have.
Right, and there was,
You
and
need to do
there
a
was
public
some
records
delay between your original request and
A
your
long
email
delay.
to me said, it went through somebody else. I mean, the ball was dropped.
Nearly 2 years, yes.
Right.
So, I mean, this invoice is,
I have not seen the invoice. I don't know how many records were produced. I forwarded on
okay, well, I
to,
just need to know if I'm being singled out.
I
This
have
is
no
how it's done
idea
for
if
all-
other council people have been invoiced for
No,
public
they have
records
not.
requests.
I believe when I ask information from Aqua prior to being mayor, I'm pretty sure I paid like a nickel or dime a copy because I had a lot of records I'd ask for. So I don't think it's anything.
But this is totally different, Catherine.
Okay.
Yes, I had nothing to do with the submission of the invoice, so. And I don't even know the amount of the invoice.
Someone did. Someone approved it.
What's the amount of the invoice?
That's beside the point.
I think it's a
It
matter
just
of public record, so it's a matter.
It is. It is, but even if it was 5 cents, it shouldn't have been. It is 19 something.
$19 and some cents?
Yeah,
And your question is, are you being singled out?
absolutely. Because and it's been almost 2 years after I made the request in order to make an informed, competent decision regarding a vote. You know, it's not like I just wanted these public records. It wasn't like that. It
So
wasn't like that.
I think, that to me, I think you've made your point on the record.
Right, I mean,
So-
I'm done.
Well, I think that there could be a meeting that could be between the administration and yourself to kind of further that question. But both parties got to be willing to meet. I would hope that we could, I
I've
would
given
hope
my
that we could.
statement. There you go.
Well, I would hope that that could
Thank
get
you.
resolved
Thank you, Jim.
through a meeting.
Madam President, Pro Tem, may I make a comment? Who has the public records policy? Where is that?
Public records policy.
Is that
was-
part, where is that? Is it part of an ordinance? Is it part of a resolution?
It's part of an ordinance.
Okay. I find it outrageous that a council person has to pay for public records within the organization which he or she represents. In all my years in public service, I have never seen anything like that. If any one of us want to know something in the city, I don't think we should be charged. So, I mean, I'm new here, but I think that policy, I would like to see that policy if someone could easily find it, because I think if it doesn't.
Mr. Thomas, it goes with any public record request. It's not excluding council, excluding
It needs-
certain things,
But
but,
what I'm saying to you, if that's the case, which is a
Right.
normal policy that I'm familiar with, it needs to exclude council.
Again.
That's my opinion. If my fellow council members don't agree, that's fine, but I think that's outrageous.
So I'd like to say, I'm going to say something first, then I certainly will recognize you.
Well, I actually had the floor, so. But again, it wasn't a public records request. It was a request for files in order to make an informed, competent
Yes, ma'am.
decision
Regardless.
regarding a vote.
Regardless, you should not be charged.
Right.
So what I was going to say, because I now have before, is that I would agree with Mr. Thomas that we, as council members, to do our job, there
Right.
is information that we're going to seek from time to time. So I do think that figure out why a council member is charged is a fair question. And so I think copies of the public records request makes sense.
We can revisit it.
And I think that if it's truly information that we need to make decisions, then we've got to be afforded the right to have that information. Anybody else like to make a comment on this matter?
I'm not sure, like, what the auditors consider, who gives a request that it could still, it always might be considered still a public request.
Right, but if we need that information, like if I'm coming to you and say I need information for a budgetary thing, or go to Anita and say I need something for, the utility committee, right? Like, there should not be, a charge for that. That, to me, is not a public record request. That's what I need to do my job. So, and I think that's the point.
I mean, I've never seen a public policy, records policy state that the elected official is charged. What I'm saying is, if it's council's pleasure, then all you do is accept out the elected officials. And that resolves it. That way, you don't have to worry about, is this a request, is this not, what is this, what is that?
Yeah, so let's
That's
start with getting a policy. So Catherine, since Jeremy's not here, if you could make
Yes,
sure that
I
all
have.
council get a copy of that, and then we
Yep.
can,
Yeah.
proceed to have further conversations if we need to go to the next council meeting. Okay, can you make sure that everybody gets that?
Yeah, I'll make sure.
Anything else on this?
No, I'd just like to say I'm in agreement with Councilman Thomas and you and Linda.
Linda, do you have anything else on this one?
No.
All right, moving on. I guess that was under new business. Council committees, finance, Mr. Smith?
Yeah, I don't have a report. We're going to have a meeting the third Monday. And to the point, I asked for information from our finance director a lot when it comes to finances. So I'd like to get all of those as well. But we're going to be coming up on the new year, the new audit. I'm not sure when they start that. We'll discuss that probably at the next meeting on the third Monday. And Jeremy's not here. I'm not sure when we're expecting that $5 million that we voted on. We had to vote to accept that, believe it or not, at the last meeting. We have no idea when that's coming in. But we had a utility committee meeting, and Donnie said we should have no trouble getting the materials that we need. Is that correct, Donnie?
Yes.
So hopefully we can get that $5 million in and get started, and that's all I have.
Okay. Questions for Mr. Smith? Finance committee?
No.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the next one, utilities committee. Ms. Butler, do you have a report?
Not really. Anita gave a billing report in our meeting, and as Mr. Smith said, we discussed some of the plans coming up for the $5 million. But other than that, we really didn't have anything else. And the next meeting will be February 7th. It'll be on that Tuesday following Martin Luther King Day at 6:45.
But February 7th is still a Monday, I think. It's the next council meeting, Tuesday, is the 18th. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is the 17th. So it's just
Oh,
on
shoot.
that first
I mean the
Monday.
18th. That's what, I'm sorry. I was skipping even more ahead. Yes.
Okay.
The next meeting will be on the 7th,
Okay,
February 7th.
gotcha.
Yes. I was thinking of the next council meeting.
6:45.
Yes.
Public meeting. So
The time
anybody-
changed, if we want to remind everyone of that.
Okay. Next utility meeting, public meeting on the 7th at 6:45.
Yes.
The next committee is the police committee. Give a report at our last regular council meeting. Our next police committee meeting, we were having them on the second Monday of the month, the Monday in between the two council meetings. We're going to move it to, the police committee will be on the second council meeting of the month after the council meeting. So our next one will be
18th.
the 18th after the council meeting. And that'll be the regularly scheduled police committee meetings. Streets north, any questions from me? Okay. Streets north side?
No report on streets north.
Okay. Streets south, Mr. Thrash? Okay. Safety, Mr. Thrash?
No report.
All right. Building and grounds, Ms. Jordan?
No report.
Planning commission, Mr. Thomas?
No report.
All right.
Should charge them for the report.
Fire district, Ms. Jordan?
Nothing, except the next meeting is next Tuesday, January 11th at 3 p.m. at the Education Center.
Can you say that again, please?
January 11th,
January 11th?
3 p.m., Education Center.
Recreation, Mr. Thomas?
No report.
And-
Meeting is the third Thursday, Linda, at 4:30.
Yes.
So
At the rec
that
center.
meeting is forthcoming.
Okay, the January meeting.
Yeah, that obviously will be my first meeting, so I'll have a report in February.
You said that again, it was the fourth Monday, or the
It's
fourth?
the third Thursday of the month at 4:30.
It'll be the 13th. 4:30.
The 13th or the 20th?
Oops, you are right, pardon me.
20th. Yeah,
Yep.
thank you.
At 4:30.
Right.
And is that at the rec center? Or,
Yeah, Yes?
Is it addressed in it?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Park District, Ms. Jordan.
The first meeting of the year will be next Monday, January 10th. Actually, it's a new place, it's a new bank, so I really don't have that address. I can give it to you later.
Yeah, the time.
It's at 4:30.
Thank you. Okay, and then that up here. Okay. All right, that's the end of the committee's reports, ordinances and resolutions. Law Director Swift.
Okay, there's up for third and final reading ordinance number 2021-38, and that's the ordinance amending certain chapters set forth in Part 11 of the Planning and Zoning Code of the codified ordinances of the city of St. Clairsville and declaring an emergency.
I'm back.
Yeah. Question on that?
Yeah, should we table this? We have a couple new councilmen. Not sure if they had an opportunity to look this over, or if they want to abstain. I'm just throwing that out there.
I spoke to Mr. Murphy about it, so I'm comfortable. I'm good.
Okay.
I applaud the whole thing, and I completely understand it, and I'm fine with moving forward.
Okay.
Fair question, Mr. Thrash, you good? Or- Yeah,
Good.
okay. Okay, so I think that sounds like we're good to proceed.
Thank you, Council.
Yes.
So third reading, will you read that? Thank you.
Ordinance number 2021-38, an ordinance amending certain chapters set forth in Part 11, Planning and Zoning Code of the codified ordinances of the city of St. Clairsville and declaring an emergency.
Motion, Ms. Jordan. We have a second. Ms. Butler. And this is third reading, so we don't need to do emergency, we're good?
Right.
Yeah, so now we just need a vote.
Butler,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Oakridge,
Yes.
Thrash,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Vincenzo.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Okay. So we're good on that?
We are good.
Elizabeth, anything else?
No,
Okay, no new ordinances?
no new ordinances.
Hey, Beth?
Okay, yes.
I have one last thing.
I was just about to say, does anybody else have anything else? Mr. Smith?
Yeah, but over the course of the, last 5 years, in discussing council meeting times, where did the 7:30 meetings start? Is it possible to move those up earlier to 6:30, or if we talk about that at some point? We don't have to go over it now, but,
I would think it would be a council decision.
It'll be council's decision on when
As
to
our
hold their
Mondays,
meeting.
it just, charter says twice a month, but I think that,
okay,
You
that's-
can do, right.
is
just
that
want to throw that
something-
out there for maybe council to think about it and see if we want to start earlier.
Does anybody,
That-
yeah,
And I wouldn't say I'm opposed to that at all, but just keep in mind, there are other meetings set up prior to, like we have the planning commission set up on a Monday at 6 o'clock. Depending on if we have a meeting and there's a public hearing, depending on how controversial the decision might be, they can be lengthy. So I guess all I'm saying is just a change could affect other, utility committee or finance committee, so.
That's what I was getting. So we
There's a lot
also
of
have,
others that can be
utility
affected.
first of the month, the first week, and then the finance, the second.
yeah, it would impact other meetings. I mean,
Mhm.
this
Yes.
utility, it was just moved to 6:45, I think finance 6:45, those would have to be backed up. Not something that we couldn't consider, but I do think each council member should weigh in on what, just recognize that moving the council meeting does impact other meetings, right?
Yeah.
So, and then I would certainly want the president of the council to be able to weigh in, so perhaps via email, we can kind of see how people are feeling about that. I mean, does anybody have anything to say now, or everyone together?
I think 7:30 is too late. I'm fine with however, but you can easily work around committee meetings to other times. That's my initial thought without
Yeah.
thinking about it too much, but
Council should take priority.
Mr. Farash, anything?
The heck with their
Okay. Ms. Butler, any comments?
No.
Mr. Vincent?
No, good.
Ms. Jordan? No. Nothing to say? No? Okay, so we will put that in and see. Anything else? Anybody else have any other business they want to bring up? Okay, so our next meeting is Tuesday, January 18th, 2022, and right now, that's still going to be at 7:30. I don't believe there'll be a change by the next meeting, if there is going to be a change. So 7:30 in council chambers. We need a motion to adjourn. Butler? We don't need a second, do we? If we did, it was Mr. Thomas.